open Illustrator or vector art in the Design Era software. So first you can design your art in Illustrator, which is a vector-based program. This particular vector has 5 anchor points, and you just save it. I'm going to do File, Save As. I recommend you can save it as a .ai file, but then when you open it in Design Era software, it's going to have your Illustrator program open as well. If for some reason that's a problem because you're working on a different computer that has Illustrator, you would want to save it as SVG. So I'm going to do that today. And you go ahead and you save it. I have this saved already, so I'll hit cancel for today. Now I'm going to go to my design software. There's my file already saved, heart.svg. And this is artwork right now. So I'm going to click artwork. This is not a JPEG, so I'm not going to open image. It's a vector file. Open vector file. There it is, heart.svg. I can double click it. Okay, so this is a vector file and it has my 5 anchor points here, but it's reading my vector file different than how I drew it. I drew it, if you remember, to just have, looks like a solid white fill and a black outline. When I look at it in the Design Era software, it looks like it's just a black fill. So I can still work on my vector image in my vector tab. So my fill color, I'm going to change that to be nothing. Okay. Then you click on the little stroke icon and we can change, it looks like it does have a black outline actually, so it did import my outline, but I think I'll change it to red so it's a little easier to see. And then it has thickness as well. So I'll change it just to be thicker so it's easier to see for this demonstration. So there we go. Okay, so right now this is only vector artwork. This is not embroidery. So the next step is to change it to be embroidery, which means I switch tabs. I go to the embroidery tab. Before I can assign cool embroidery details, I need to change this vector artwork to a stitch. So we click Art to Stitch. I just do the top one and I just say OK. All right, so it changed my artwork to stitches. It's kind of hard to see, honestly. There's different things to show. If you don't want to see your vectors, you can turn off your vectors, and here we can see the stitches that it's planning on stitching. Anyways, there's just different things. So yeah, so I think I'm going to turn off the vector for now. And then also what I really like is to see what does it look like in 3D once it's stitched. This is just like our computer software data points. Here's the visualization of what it looks like when it's stitched. So that's pretty helpful as I go in to customize certain things, like maybe the width. So if I want it to be less thick, I can click this number down, and what's it doing? Is it making it more thick? What if I type in 3? Oh, it won't even let me do that. You can see it's kind of spacing out the stitches a little bit. Keep clicking it down. See how it's not quite as tight of a zigzag. So you can control that with this. And again, it's nice having the 3D on to see what's happening. So if you don't have the 3D on, it doesn't really look very different. You can also change maybe how long. So you can see my original vector is where those black lines are. So now my stitch is going over it. So that's kind of neat too, as well. So anyways, you can play with those. You can even change it. You know, right now it's at zigzag. Maybe I change it just to be a manual straight stitch or an like E kind of stitch. Running stitch here. Again, maybe we change these choices. You can kind of play around with them. These aren't really looking that good. So I'm going back to this for right now. Oh, goodness. Okay, so I kind of messed it up a little bit. But anyways, we can still go in and edit this, right? Maybe my heart's not looking so good. Maybe I actually need to add a node, right, somewhere. Here we go, just to make it a little softer. Okay, yeah, okay. Let me get out of that. Hit return to get out of that. And we're still in edit mode, so you know you can go in and kind of change this as well. And maybe at this point, if you are doing some changes, maybe it would be better to say show your vectors, possibly. Anyways, once you're done, you would say continue, and then you're ready to save it to actually go be printed or embroidered and whatnot.